Welcome to the John Wesley Convent online class 7, chapter 1, History. In previous video, we got to know that historians divide our history into ancient, medieval and modern periods. Historians use various literacy and archaeological sources to know about our past. Paper was probably introduced in India in 1750 CE. It was now used to create a wide variety of text in large numbers. These documents and handwritten text or manuscripts was collected by the rich people, monasteries and temples who placed them in libraries and archives, which provide important and detailed information to the historians. During those times, printing press was not invented. So scribes were employed to make multiple copies of the original documents by hand. While copying the manuscripts, the scribe sometimes unknowingly changed or missed out on a word or a sentence at some places. They often made a guess for the words or sentences that were not legible. With each copy, these slight differences become more and more prominent, and after several centuries, the text of the new manuscript become quite different from the original ones. It is difficult for the historians to find the original manuscript of the author. Therefore, they had to read different versions of the same manuscript to conclude what was written in the original account. It is also difficult to read different kinds of handwritings in Persian and Arabic languages. Sometimes the author of the manuscript made revisions to the chronicles at different times. Historians may end up using information from just one version for a fairly long time in case all the versions are not found at the same time. For instance, Ziauddin Burani wrote two different versions of his chronicle, first in 1356 and the second in 1358 until 1971. Historians relied on the second version as the first one could not be found. Languages change dramatically over time in terms of grammar, vocabulary and meaning of certain words and terms. This poses a challenge for historians to interpret the past event correctly. Let's take some example to understand this. Like India has been known by varied names in different historical periods. In ancient times, India was known as Bharatvarsha as per Vishnu Puran. This name is also mentioned in Rig Veda. Then Patanjali used the term Aryavarta for the land between the Vindhyas and the Himalayas. The sacred book of Parsi Zend Avesta named India as Sab-Sindhu, the land of seven rivers. Greek named it as Indoi or the people of Indus. Let's take one more example. The term foreigner were also used in a different context in the medieval period. Today we use the term foreigner to refer to a person from another country. However, in the medieval period, foreigner was a person from another society or culture. This includes a person from another village, town or city. However, people living in the same village were not considered foreigner, even if they were from different religions or castes. The science of cartography developed during this period as the traders needed maps to undertake journey by land and sea. Maps showing the Indian subcontinent were sketched at different points of times. These maps are quite different from each other as they were based on the information that was then available. Let us consider the example of the maps drawn by geographer Al-Adrasi in the 12th century and the maps made in the 18th century by French cartographers. The map was drawn by Al-Adrasi in 1154 CE on the basis of the reports of Arab merchants who had travelled across the world. It was designed with the South Pole at the top. Therefore, South India and Sri Lanka are shown at the top, while the North India is at the bottom. The names of different places are marked in Arabic. This map was made almost 600 years later during the 1720s By now the science of cartographers had evolved and the knowledge of the Indian subcontinent has greatly increased. Therefore, this map shown the Indian subcontinent more accurately and seems more familiar to us than the one drawn by Al-Adarsi. This map shows the coastal areas and great details as it was used by European sailors and merchants during the voyages. While reading the maps drawn in the past, historians have to take into consideration the advantages of the cartography skills and geographical knowledge of the people of those times.